Today, I want to share something that's left a lasting impression on me, and that's solo travel. For me, it's been one of the most enriching experiences. It's shaped my perspective and has left a lasting impression. For as long as I can remember, I've always had this insatiable curiosity about the world. I've always wondered why things are the way they are, and why people live in the way that they do, and what creates the incredible diversity that we see from place to place. Before I started my solo travel journey, I remember how closed off the world seemed and how isolated that I felt. But when I first set out to travel the world alone, I had no idea how much it would change me and my perspective. My curiosity has led me to some amazing and unforgettable places, and this journey has pushed me in ways that I've never expected. I want to share my story with you and give you some tips on how you can embrace solo travel to expand your horizons and maybe inspire you like it has for me. Before I started my solo travel journey, I saw the world as this distant, unreachable, and almost isolated place. That perspective started to change when I lived in Italy as a child, between the ages of 4 and 10. My family moved to Naples and La Maddalena because of the military, and we stayed there for a total of 5 years. It was my first experience in a new country with its own values and unique culture, so different from the one that I grew up in. I remember how terrifying and exhilarating it was to be walking through the streets and not understand a word of what people were saying. It felt so surreal. Before that, I had been living in my own little bubble in Florida, with minimal interaction about the world outside. Even though I had loved travel and been exposed to it from a very young age, it wasn't until I reached the age of 22 where I was able to do some solo travel and experience the world completely on my own. At that time, I was stationed in New Hampshire with the Navy, and I was between duty stations. Growing up in Florida, I was never really exposed to any diverse landscapes. There were no mountains or dramatic terrains. It was just a bunch of swamp, heat, and bugs. And while some people find Florida's landscapes intriguing, that environment never truly resonated with me. Then I find myself in New Hampshire, surrounded by the breathtaking scenery of the White Mountains, shaped by ancient glaciers of the old ice ages. I immediately fell in love with it. It was like nothing I've ever seen before. This is where I fully started to appreciate the changing seasons, the varied topography, and the rich history of the land. It just captivated me. Soon after I arrived, I packed for my first backpacking trip. I can still vividly remember walking through a birch forest for the first time, having Canadian grey jays just land right in my hand. The place felt magical, sparking a deep connection with the earth that I had just never experienced before. From that point on, nearly every weekend, regardless of the season, I had my bags packed and would drive the 5 to 6 hours into the mountains as soon as I got done with work. I was absolutely hooked. Suddenly, the world was no longer distant or intimidating. It became this vast landscape of experiences, filled with new connections and opportunities. Each trip has taught me something new, not just about the world, but also about myself. Every single journey into those mountains brought me back lessons of self-discovery and growth, opening my eyes to the incredible richness that the world has to offer. Solo travel is more than just about experiencing new places. It's about personal growth and self-discovery. By embracing the unknown, you step outside your comfort zone, which pushes you to adapt, learn, and grow in ways that you've never imagined. It's natural to feel nervous, but those moments of discomfort often lead to the greatest growth. Let your curiosity guide you. Learn to start trusting your own intuition. It will not only lead you to amazing new experiences, but will also help you learn even more about yourself. Solo travel teaches you resilience, self-reliance, and how to truly embrace the world and yourself in the process. I've always had this childlike curiosity and wonder about the world. Why are things the way they are? Why do people live in the way they do? As a kid, I would ask so many questions, and people would get frustrated after a certain point because they didn't have all the answers. That curiosity has never left me. Solo travel became a natural result of the desire to go out in the world and seek those answers for myself. Through travel, I could observe the world, collect my own data, and draw my own conclusions. But what's interesting is the more I discovered, the more I realized how much I just didn't know. It's almost like science, or any subject really. The deeper you go, the more you realize how uncertain and vast everything truly is. I vividly remember walking through a small town in the mountains of New Hampshire, completely captivated by how harmonious that the community lived with nature. It wasn't just about visiting a new place. It was about exploring the deeper questions that have always fascinated me. I found myself wanting to learn everything, from the area's history to the people's way of life. That's when I first started feeling the urge to capture these experiences on camera. I wanted to be able to communicate what I was seeing, what I was feeling when I went out into these vast landscapes. And so I took an introductory photography class at my local community college. I quickly became obsessed with landscape photography, and it became another outlet for my curiosity. The more I explored, the more I came to understand just how diverse and beautiful the world truly is. That curiosity has deepened my gratitude for every new experience. And it's made me realize that the world is filled with beautiful stories waiting to be uncovered and shared. Let your curiosity guide you. Asking questions and exploring the unknown can lead to amazing discoveries about the world and yourself. Travel is a powerful way to learn and grow, as it allows you to collect different experiences and draw your own conclusions. I also encourage you to find a creative way to document your journey. Whether it's through photography, journaling, or a totally other different outlet, your stories and experiences deserve to be shared. Most importantly, appreciate and have gratitude for the vastness of the world. The more you explore, the more gratitude you'll develop for the endless beauty and stories that you're bound to uncover. Solo travel is more than just about experiencing new places. It's also a journey within, a journey that not only takes us to physical destinations, but to the innermost parts of our souls. While we navigate new terrains and landscapes, we are often unknowingly navigating the inner complexities of our own inner worlds. For me, this has meant facing challenges to grow in ways that I have never even imagined. Through these hardships, I not only became more independent and resilient, but I also found deeper connection with my inner self. These trials, though difficult at the time, have left me with both powerful lessons and unexpectedly fond memories. I remember this one time in Yosemite. After driving for more than 7 hours, I eagerly set out on a backpacking trip. I was so excited by the promise of adventure and solitude in the mountains. As I walked into what seemed to be a perfect, serene meadow, suddenly a massive cloud of mosquitoes rose up out of the earth. They swarmed me so densely, I felt like I was breathing them in. At that moment, it was anything but funny. Brutal, really. But now when I look back at it, I can't help but laugh. It's memories like these that remind me that even in the discomfort and struggle, there's joy and appreciation to be found in the experience. Then there was the time that my van's tire blew out in the middle of Arizona. The vast desert stretched out endlessly in all directions, and I was completely alone with no one around to help. I had no choice but to figure out how to fix the tire by myself. That moment tested my resilience, but it also showed me something deeper, that I am capable of much more than I ever gave myself credit for. It wasn't just about changing a tire. It was about realizing that I could feel confident facing the unknown, the unexpected, and come out stronger on the other side. These experiences have taught me how to sit comfortably with solitude and really embrace those moments of stillness. In those quiet spaces, I've had time to reflect on who I am and what truly matters to me. I've come to realize that growth doesn't always happen in the most comfortable or easiest situations. It often happens when you're pushed to your limits, when you're forced to rely solely on yourself, and when you have nothing but your own thoughts for company. Now, I'm not saying that you should go out and do everything on your own. I'm a huge believer in collaboration, but there is something to be said about developing individual strength when you're out in these situations. It's in those moments that we find clarity, strength, and the ability to connect deeper with ourselves. The growth that I've experienced when I first started solo travel is something that I could have never predicted when I first set out on this path, but it's been one of the most rewarding parts of the journey. To me, travel isn't just about the places that I've been. It's also about the person that I've become along the way. Every challenge, every moment of solitude, and every unexpected twist has been a step towards self-discovery. And in the end, That is what solo travel is about, coming face to face with who you truly are, and embracing the journey of becoming the best version of yourself. If you're thinking about solo travel but feel hesitant, don't worry, that's completely normal. I'm a huge believer that if you're not doing something that just slightly scares you a little bit, you're living too much in your comfort zone. The idea of being out there on your own can feel intimidating at first, but solo travel offers some of the most rewarding experiences you'll ever have. Here are a few useful tips to help you get started and make the most of your journey. You want to start small and build confidence. You don't need to book an international trip right away. Start small. Plan with a weekend getaway to a nearby city or a national park. Starting small gives you the confidence of navigating new environments on your own and not challenging yourself too much. You'll get a feel for how to manage logistics and manage your time. And most importantly, how to be in your own company. My first solo camping trip that I did was only about 5 miles in and about an hour's drive away. I wasn't so far in the woods to where if something bad happened, I wouldn't be able to do anything about it. But it was challenging enough for the level that I was at to start to get a feel for that isolation and independence when I was starting to backpack. You also want to travel minimally for maximum mobility. One of the best things that you can do as a solo traveler is to travel light. Learning about and embracing minimalism has dramatically affected the way that I travel, and it just makes things easier. It turns out that you don't really need that much when you're starting to travel. And I have always leaned into the one bag philosophy. Having a well-organized and durable backpack is key. For me, the GoRuck GR2 has been a game changer. It's built tough enough to handle the rugged alpine environment of the White Mountains, but also tough enough to handle heat of the Mojave Desert in places like Joshua Tree. With a solid backpack that can hold everything that you need, you won't be bogged down by a bunch of heavy luggage. This makes it easier when you're moving from place to place. Whether you're hopping on a bus in town, hiking to a remote spot, or just camping in the wilderness, traveling minimally opens up opportunities. You'll feel more mobile and more adaptable, and this will ultimately save you both time and decisions that you have to make. You also want to trust your instincts. Your instincts are one of the most valuable tools when you're traveling alone. If something doesn't feel right, don't hesitate to adjust. Whether it's changing your accommodation or altering your route, don't hesitate if something feels off. You always want to trust your gut, and safety should come first. Solo travel teaches you how to read environments accurately and carefully. When you're visiting new places for the first time, it's a good idea to go there in the day, under normal lighting conditions, to get a feel for how things are there. Avoid going to places at night unless you absolutely have to. I remember a time when I was camping up in the Pacific Northwest with my friend Hunter. We found the most beautiful spot in the mountains. It was lush, it was green, it was just magical. But the deeper we explored the area, we noticed some quite unsettling things. We started to find bullet shells, trash, and even some abandoned, burned out vehicles. It just didn't sit right with us. After considering it, we decided to pack up and move to a different spot. We had just had this bad feeling about staying there overnight. It felt off, even though at first the location seemed ideal. Trusting our instincts turned out to be the right move. We ended up finding an amazing black sand beach on the coast instead, and we had an amazing time. It's important to not rely on apps like iOverlander or other internet recommendations, because often sites like that are known to everybody will sometimes be abused and not really be the best area for you to go. While they can be helpful, your gut feeling is the best thing that you can use. If something feels wrong, it probably is. So trust yourself and make the necessary changes. Solo travel is as much about the internal journey as it is about the external one. Embrace the moments and be comfortable when you're alone. That's where you'll probably find the most growth. You'll have time to reflect and connect with yourself and truly experience the world without distractions. Solitude can be uncomfortable at first, but it's in those moments where you'll discover a sense of peace. Now, it's important to plan, but you also want to have a sense of staying flexible. Planning ahead is essential, especially when traveling alone. Research your destination, research your route, but also have backup plans. One of the beauties of solo travel is to also just go with the flow. If you discover a hidden gem along the way, or if you happen to just really love the place that you're at, don't hesitate to just adjust your schedule and stay in the area to explore as long as you want. Some of the best solo trips that I've been on have been ones where I just don't even have a plan. I just get in my car and drive north into the mountains. It turned out to be an amazing and life-changing experience that I'll never forget. You want to invest in quality gear. I'm a huge believer in that if you buy it once, You will probably not have to buy it again if it's nice enough. One of the most important things I think for solo travel is having a very nice quality and durable backpack. My Goruck GR2 has served me well in every environment that I've been to, and I also trust it to protect my sensitive electronics and other items like that. Pack light, trust your instincts, embrace solitude, invest in quality gear, and you'll find yourself on an incredible path of personal growth and adventure. Solo travel has completely transformed my life. It's shown me parts of the world that I'd never thought I'd see. But more importantly, it's shown me parts of myself that I never even knew existed. If there's one thing that I hope that you take away from this video, it's that solo travel is more than just an adventure. It's an opportunity to grow, to challenge yourself, and to expand your own horizons. So if you're thinking about taking that first step, just do it. The world is waiting for you, and I promise that you'll come back as a changed person. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. It helps me out a lot. And check out this next video over here, where I talk to you about how to live a more abundant life. I'll see you over there.